Evening, everybody. How are we?
Evening, Paul.
Let me just turn my volume up. You're really quiet. Right. First of all, before anybody else joins, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
After last time out, that was a bit of a nightmare. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, for those that have seen the post in the community, you will know that this evening I'm just going to do a bit of a quick kind of behind the scenes peek into the new software that's coming mid to late September, probably towards the later, the end of September. Going to go through not all of it, but a lot of it. And the juicy bit that everybody keeps asking me about is off-market deals. So we are going to look at that. And we'll get into it in a second. Just let a few more people jump on. While we wait for people to jump on, what I will say is tonight, because I'm going to be going through a few bits with the software and doing a screen share. If you've got questions, type them in the chat rather than ask them out loud, and I'll get to them at the end. Probably be a good way to do this. What have we got? News. So for those that don't know, I'm on holiday from Friday. Simon has just WhatsApped me and told me I'm not allowed a holiday, apparently. And I told him that you lot tire me out, so I'm having a holiday. So yeah, I am away on Friday and I'm back on the 9th of September. But in terms of support, if you are a mentee and you require support and you really need my help on something in the next 10, 12 days, then I will be checking messages on school, and the support email will actually be manned as and when I get internet and when I've got time. But for anything else, it can wait till I get back on the 9th. So what else have we got? Oh, I want to share something. We did a thing in the community a while ago, the 5-day challenge, and some of you on this call took part in that. And the whole point of the 5-day challenge was to really push momentum, taking action, really pushing ourselves into that mentality of getting out there and doing stuff rather than sitting behind a screen and learning and watching webinars and joining things like this. It was more on the action side of things. Now, off the back of that, one of the people that did that, who's not on this evening's call, Laura, she found in her local area a kind of a community event. It's best way of describing it, a community event which is to do with the Hong Kong people that have moved over from Hong Kong to the West Midlands. Now, she started attending that event, and because she started attending that event, she's now got a contact who works for a finance company, and they've asked to interview Laura, and their media team are going to be filming it. She's going up to Manchester to do that on Friday, and she's going to be sharing that on her website, which is an amazing opportunity for her to actually get in front of her ideal client avatar, who are predominantly Hong Kong investors and investors over in Asia. And she tells me today, I had a call with her today, that she has been invited to jump on a webinar that the finance company are hosting, I think, next month. And all of their audience is her audience. It's the same audience. So what an amazing opportunity that is for her to and it was under her nose. It was on her doorstep. That event was happening and she wasn't aware of it until she actually started really focusing on taking action in her area instead of sitting behind the screen. So, who knows where that could lead in terms of bringing in investors and JV partners and such. So awesome. Another update, Lee, who's not on this evening's call, he's refinancing out of his first deal, which has been a nightmare. And yeah, he's jumping into his second deal very, very soon. I had an update on that today. And Maz, who we spoke to last week, I haven't spoken to for a long, long time, Maz, and she doesn't join the calls. She's always too busy, apparently. I'm sure she watches the replays. She's on looking for her 5th project And I think she's only been with me for 2 years, and she's looking for a fifth project at the minute down in South Wales, which is awesome. So, without further ado, you all see that screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen. Yeah, cool. Good stuff. That's a good start. So this is what you will see when you log into what we are calling Accelerator. We're just calling it Accelerator. Now, this whole software is built around property investors and also property sources. Basically, anybody looking to make money in property. And it's part a toolkit to enable you to do your job, to find deals, find investors, analyze deals, crunch the numbers, run project refurbs. But also another big part of this is the CRM side of things, which is managing your pipeline. So if you onboard an investor, you can onboard them into the investor hub. It saves their contact details. It saves all their KYC documents, the sourcing agreement or the JV agreement that you have in place. And it keeps everything nice and tidy, so it's not in a million different folders on your laptop. This is where everything lives. So it's one piece of software for everything. In terms of the CRM side of things as well, what we'll say is the pipeline. The pipeline is if you're a deal sourcer or an investor, you may be looking for your next investment, or you may be sourcing deals for somebody. You will analyze lots of deals. You will crunch the numbers on loads of deals. Now, that's great. But then what do? Well, we add them to the pipeline and we move them through the process of we've analyzed the deal, we've made an offer, we're in legals, we've purchased the thing, we're moving, like you move it through the pipeline. Another thing on the homepage, as you can see here, is this gives you a bit of a snapshot of what's going on. So every time you log in, you will land on this page. And I'll talk through it from top to bottom. So right at the top, you have, this will be a voice note from myself. If you are on a mentorship package with me, you get a weekly check-in voice note from me landed in your account. So when you log in, that voice note is just for you and specific to you based on your activity that you've taken in the previous week, based on your 90-day plan, which I'm going to show you in a second. So mentees have got that accountability, that touch point of Paul's looking at my 90-day plan. He's looking at, where I'm up to, where I'm, maybe not ticking things off. And that's essentially what the voice note is all about. Then we've got the 90-day plan here. Obviously, we've got the menu down the left-hand side, but we can click into it here as well. So that's how you access it. We've got some things pulled out of the pipeline. So potential income from pipeline. This is assuming that you are a deal sourcer. Where the £50,000 comes from is £5,000 per deal, so £5,000 sourcing fee per deal. That's where that figure comes from. So potential income in your pipeline. And in the deal pipeline, we've got 10 deals currently being analysed and 5 properties are owned. So if you're a property investor and you've got assets and land and properties that you own, they're all in here as well under the portfolio tab, which I'm not going to show you this evening because we're still building bits of this out. It's not finished. We're nearly there. But there's a couple of bits I'm not going to share this evening. Portfolio is one of them, but it's essentially where you can track the progress of your portfolio and understand where each property is at, how it's performing, and whether you maybe need to refresh your portfolio, pull equity, sell a property, and buy something that's going to perform a little bit better. What have we got underneath that? Property tools, and that's where we're going to spend a lot of this evening, is in here, which is where all the good stuff is. And then over on the right hand side, we've got what's on, kind of obviously to get more people into the community and make you more aware of when the calls are happening. They're just advertised there on the right hand side. One is the group call that you're on this evening, which is the group call for all school members in the group. And then we've got the VIP group call, which is VIP mentorship, which is launching in a couple of days. And there's more information coming on that. I'm not going to get into that this evening. So we will dive into the 90-day plan first. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if any of you, obviously some people on this call this evening have their 90-day plan, you know what your 90-day plan is. you know how it works. This is essentially a online version of that. It's much more immersive, and I think it gamifies it a little bit because you're able to tick things off. So on the left-hand side, what we've got is the 12 weeks. Phase 1, pick your lane. Obviously, it's different for everybody. This is just a random test account. This is not somebody's 90-day plan. We've got a nice quote here. If we look at week 1, we've ticked off these things. If we untick them, they reappear. But we tick them off as we go and we work through, and then we jump into week 2. And every single week is there, week 3. And we keep on going till we've finished it at the bottom. But this is where your plan lives. But why this is much better than what we have now, which is just a PDF document, you've got a notes section on the right-hand side here that automatically saves. So if you've got questions, if you're working through your 90-day plan and you're thinking, do you know what, I've got a question for Paul. I'm going to forget if I don't write that down. You can jot that down in that box. It automatically saves. And then when we next jump on a call, a one-to-one call with each other, we can screen share this. You can log into your account, screen share, and we can pick through your notes alongside the plan itself. So it's much better than what we have now, much more immersive. I think it's a better way of doing things. The 90-day plan really comes to life with this. Underneath the 90-day plan is something that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, and it's conversations breeding business. One of the things I say all the time. Now, obviously, success comes from actions, and I really want people to really dial down into this and to understand if you want to generate 100k a year, you need to be having 16 conversations a week, and we work that out based on these metrics here. So it's £5,000 per deal. You need to sell 20 deals to do 100k. We need 29 investors. We need to convert from 576 conversations with a 5% conversion rate, blah, 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 16 conversations a week. That's what it spits out. That's the thing. And we can change those numbers here based on if our conversion rate is much better, because 5% is really, really poor as a conversion rate, but that's just an idea. As I said, I think recently or may have been on the last call, actually, when we were talking about this, my conversion rate was around about 33%. So you would change that if you onboard much more investors, and these conversations, it will drop as you change those things. The idea is you're just going to log those conversations every single week. The whole point of this is it keeps it front of mind. It sits underneath your plan for a reason. Your plan is something you're going to be looking at every single day to, so you know what am I up to this week? What have I got to put? Where have I got to put my focus? What am I doing at the moment? But this always needs to be front of mind, right at the bottom. In and amongst those tasks is conversations. How can I have more conversations with my ideal client avatar? So we've baked that into the 90-day plan there. So you can keep a track of that and just be mindful of it, because if you're not having conversations, then you're not gonna make money. And it works. Sorry, I'll show you at the bottom here. That's for if you were a sourcer looking for investors. So you're gonna be having conversations with investors, potential investors. If you are an investor, we all know that you don't just offer on one property and you buy that property. That's very rare that happens in property. So we might look at 50 appraisals. We might attend 10 viewings. We might put in 5 offers before we get a purchase. So it's just another way of kind of monitoring ourselves and knowing that, okay, if we want to buy a property, then we need to be getting our numbers up and appraising more properties to actually get there. Because wanting something and getting something are two different things, and it always comes back to action. So next up, we have got deal calculators. I'm not going to dive into them because they are currently being updated. The ones that you have access to in the community, they're not going to look much different. They're literally going to have a new skin on them, and the AI will be improved. So as you put in the numbers of your analyzing a flip or whatever it is, the AI is going to give you a plain English feedback in much more detail than it does already. It already gives you that feedback, but it's going to be much, much better. So you're fully aware if you analyze a deal, put in the numbers, and then you're looking at the result, the AI is telling you, look, this doesn't stack up. And here is why. And it might be the costs are too high, the refurb, it could be the bridging finance, it could be you're paying too much for the property in the first place. It's going to tell you, and therefore you can take that information, look at it, and then start adjusting the figures and trying to see if you can make the deal work. Maybe you can structure it in a slightly different way. Maybe we can chip away the refurb price. Maybe we can offer less for the property. But you're going to know why the deal doesn't stack is the point. So the AI is getting a bit of an overhaul at the moment, so I'm not going to show you the deal calculators, but they're in there. Property tools. Well, this is the one that everybody's interested in. Everybody keeps asking me questions about the off-market deal finder and the investor finder, because they're the two biggest issues in property that I find. People struggle to find deals, or they struggle to find investors. Now, if you have both and you've got deals and you've got investors, then you can make serious cash. And that is this is where all of this came from. It started with fixing those two big problems. And we've done that with this. And I'm going to show you bits of it this evening. But before we dive into the off-market deal finder, I want to show you some of the other tools. And we've broken them down into search, property data, productivity. And we've got a few tools on here already. By launch, I would say there's going to be more tools. We'll start with the capital growth tracker. This is pretty cool. So you can type in any UK town or council area in there, or you can select from the pre-populated list. And if we do that, we get a nice graph underneath showing us the current average price, the growth over 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. And we can add different areas. What have we got? York, Preston, Bradford, Barnsley, Wolverhampton. We can add different. We can see how they perform against each other. What the hell is that? What's that one? York. So yeah, and we can see how they perform. So if you're thinking as an investor, where do I invest? Well, this data is actually really useful to compare different areas against each other and see, what the average property prices are, but also what the average yields are in those areas as well. So it's a nice tool as well. And also, if you're a deal sourcer and you're working with investors, this is a really nice visual to be able to send. You could screenshot that and send that to your investor client. It makes you look really professional. It shows you're doing your homework, and they get some really nice data presented in a very nice, colourful way. It's easy to understand. So that's the capital growth tracker. And that's live data that's pulled, as you can see there, from the land registry data, June 2026, and it automatically updates. So it's always bang up to date, that data. It's never out of date. So if we go back to the property tools, what we got next? Yield heat map. We'll look at that. So this is, as it sounds, a yield list of 65 areas in the UK. I think it is. Is it 65? Yeah. All over the UK. And you can obviously look at all areas or just the northwest, just the northeast, and toggle things. So if you know your patch is in the northeast, they're going to be the places that you're interested in. It's going to tell you which one's performing better than the others. And again, it's just another way of seeing what the average prices are, the rent per calendar month, and the gross yields are in those areas. So again, just bang up to date data. And, again, it's something that you can share with your investor clients. That's the yield heat map. Right, let's get into the off-market deal finder. So, how to use the off-market deal finder. Every house that you will see below in a second when we do a search is not on Rightmove. It's not on Zoopla. It's not on any property portal because it is not on the market. No agent, nobody else is chasing it. it is sat there waiting to be chased as a potential lead. So the idea is you are going to search your patch, put in a postcode or town in the bar there, and then we're going to click that button, find deals, and then we're going to use the strategy filter to show flips, BRRRs, HMOs, buy-to-let, or maybe assisted sales. And it breaks it out really nicely. So I'm just going to do a random search. I'll do a couple. Let's just do leads, find deals. So it's scanning leads as an area for off-market deals. It's found 20,025 off-market leads in Leeds. So the idea now is we've got a map and we can hover over and it tells us what the addresses are, and we can zoom in on that map and really have a look and have a dig around the areas. Obviously, we're going to know our patch. So you've got the visual of the map, and then we go into the actual deals themselves. So as you can see, you get a street view image of the property. This one is saying here, it last sold in 1995 for 53,950. Imagine buying a house for that now. And its estimated value today is around £215,000. So that's a 299% rise from what they've paid. And there's been one recent sale within half a mile. So the system checks the comparable, and it bases the estimated value now based on the sold comparable and the price of the size measured against the EPC. So the data is reliable in terms of the estimated value for that property in that area, in that postcode, because of that, because it's giving you the pounds per square meterage right there. So it's telling us on this one, 627 Dewsbury Road, so it's a potential flip or BRRR opportunity, owned for over 25 years. It's never been modernised. Its EPC is F. This is the classic value add opportunity. It's worth less than the done-up houses on the same street, and it's completely off market, so no competing buys, and your profit is the refurb, so it's a value add opportunity. As we go through, you can see there's lots of different things. This one is an ideal flip. Another thing, actually, I didn't show you. So what would you do? So let's say you're interested in 627 Dewsbury Road, and you're thinking, well, it's certainly worth looking into. You can write to the owner. So if we click that button, we get a pop-up that gives us a pre-written letter to the owner. Now, there will be more letters in here upon launch. It just makes it easier. We're putting it on a plate for you to do this outreach with this search. So this is just a basic offer letter. You could type in your name there, and then it updates your mobile number, and it populates in there as well, and your email is optional. So there's the letter to the vendor, and you can copy that, print, save as a PDF, copy it out in a letter, handwrite it if you want. But the letter's there, it's written for you. You don't have to think about it. That's an offer letter. We've also got an assisted sale letter, because if you find something that is absolutely crying out to be an assisted sale, you need to approach things in a slightly different way, slightly different manner. So we have a letter to cover that as well, which explains in very basic terms what an assisted sale is and how you can help that vendor. And again, it works in the same way. You just populate, and you can edit the details, copy the text, save, post. So moving down, what you can do actually is save each one. And if you click save, it adds that to your pipeline. So you could sit in here for 20 minutes looking through your area, doing a quick search, off-market deals, saving the ones you like the look of, and then you go and analyze and carry out some deeper research on that, and then maybe send the letter later on when you think, do you know what, this has got legs, this is exciting, this is a potential opportunity here. That's how I would use it. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the data, like I say, it will split things out as a flip, assisted sale. This one, it's saying it's a good BRRR or a buy to let based on the gross yield. 11.1% on the value. Area rents are typically 1,135 a month, so it gives you a bit more data when it thinks it's a buy to let. And again, obviously, I just did a random search there for leads, off market deals, 20,000. So you select patch, you write to the owner, you save the good ones to your pipeline. It's as simple as that, and it's a numbers game. Look, this is speculative. I'm not saying there are 20,000 deals to be had in leads. That's not what that is. So don't get that confused. What this is 20,000 potential opportunities. Not everybody on that list is going to be wanting or even thinking about selling their house, but it's a numbers game. There will be people within that 20,000 who may be considering their options. You may have a house that's in need of a refurb and they don't have the money to refurb it, but maybe they would like to sell it, but maybe they're in a bit of a situation. Do you know what? An assisted sale might work a dream, but they've never heard of that. And then your letter lands on the doormat, and you're into a conversation. The point is it's an off-market deal. You're not fighting against other people. So that's the off-market deal finder, and that's how that works. In fact, I'll show you another area. What should we do? If I could spell it right, I'm just going to pick something shorter. Nottingham. 8,479 in Nottingham. Again, same thing. So anywhere in the UK, same thing. Property tools, back in there, let's look at Investor Finder. So we said before about trying to solve the two biggest problems, finding deals. We just put a load of thousands of off-market deals in your lap. The Investor Finder, okay, how do we find investors? How do we find JV partners? How do we find people that fit our criteria? Well, we do this. So how this works, this searches, what I will share is this searches businesses. So people who have a limited company that is a property company. We segregate the results by landlord, investor, or developer. So let's just do a random, I'll just pick a Newcastle. We've also got a PDF there to help you through this as well, but let's click find investors. 4,807 property investors, landlords and developers in Newcastle. Now, you'll see that these are companies. So this is a company based in Newcastle, established for 8 years. Why is that important? Because a company that's been established for 5 minutes versus a property company that's been established for 8 years, it shows they've probably weathered a few property cycles. It shows that they're serious. It shows that they've not just set up last week and they're an amateur, and they're new to the game. So that's why that's important. Verified local address. Now, the registered address on company's house looks like a genuine home or a local premises in Newcastle or in the area that you're searching for. And it's a good sign that the business actually operates in that location. Obviously, people can have serviced offices and use their accountant's offices and things, and that's very common. We've got the actual name of the person. So the director, he's the director of that company, and he's tagged as an investor. He's tagged as an investor for a reason. It's because of the SIC code, the SIC code that he has given when registering his company, Adderstone 208 Limited, with Company's House. He had to supply SIC codes, which tells Company's House what his business does. Now, the SIC code, SIC code that he put forward himself identifies him as an investor or a likely investor. And we've got, obviously, it breaks it down. So we've got landlords, we've got developers. And again, in a very similar way to the deals, the off-market deals, we make it easy, start the conversation. So the idea is we are going to reach out to these people. So if we click start the conversation, We've got various different letters. The laid back opener. And again, it just works in the same way. You just populate your information in. We've got the idle money. It depends on the angle that you're going for. You can pick and choose, or you can write your own, but there's some things in here. And like I say, there will be more templates when we launch as well. So there's plenty of options. You're not going to be stuck there thinking, oh, what do I say? Do I say the same thing to everybody? No, mix things up and see which gets the best response. Then you can click on Find on LinkedIn. That takes you to that person's, not that person's LinkedIn profile, but it will search their name on LinkedIn with the click of the button. You hit that and it will take you to LinkedIn. Also, again, works the same way as the property. You can click save and it will add that person, Christopher John Francis Andrews, to your investor hub. And then obviously they're in your pipeline as a person that you're potentially trying to engage with and have a conversation with. So we're putting the investors in front of you. We're giving you the how to engage with them in terms of what to say to that investor based on who they are. If they're a developer, if they're an investor, if they are a landlord. And again, one search, Newcastle, 4,800 people. So to say, I struggle to find investors. If you're operating in Newcastle or anywhere in the UK and you do that search, you are going to have a lot of people to potentially reach out to and engage with and start a conversation with. And again, it comes back to, what we were talking about before, action taker. Conversations breed business. This is what it all comes back to. So you can see the way this software points you in the direction of here's the deals, here's the investors, and here's the metric you need to focus on to make money in property. It's conversations. It's all in there. And it paints the picture. You just have to, do it. Where were we? Property tools. So what else? So the refurb project manager. I'm not going to show you this evening. No, do you know what I am? I'm going to show you. We're still building this, so this is nowhere near done. But we wanted to take things to a whole other level with people that are project managing their own refurbs. So if you're a PM or you manage your own flips and you manage the tradespeople, this is going to be such a help. So I've got a test project here in this account. So this is a schedule of works broken down from pre-construction. We've got the rip out and strip out, structural, external and weatherproofing of the property, first fix, plastering, second fix, decoration, external works, completion. And we can add tasks in as well and change things around and move things around. But that's the usual schedule of works in the right order. Then we've got timeline. So timeline is where this goes to a whole other level where it turns into project management software. So this is all auto scheduled at the moment because this is just a test. So we've got again that those different tasks that we can see broken out on the left hand side. As you'll know, anybody, Darren, you'll know this from refurbing properties over the years. Things have to happen in a certain order. So you can't be doing the plastering if you haven't done the rip out or the first fix or the second fix. You have to do things in the right order, obviously. And people can't turn up on site, as in contractors, to do one job if another job hasn't finished yet, because everything's done in an order, and that's what this does. So it moves along, as you can see. When one finishes, the next one starts. And we've got this Gantt chart building out all the way through the project with the dates, times, and it goes into, if I click, the duration, what resource or contractor or trade is on the job, which whether it depends on one of these other things finishing first. So it's really quite detailed, and anybody that hasn't managed a project before or seen any sort of a Gantt chart before might think, oh my God, this looks confusing. It's really not once you get into it and start using it. There'll be a full, once we launch, there will be a training on each and every single bit of this. So anything that you find slightly confusing, you won't. So like I say, that's still under construction. Another thing under construction on there is the area report. So some of you may know on this call, on the deal calculators, we already have with the existing deal calculators, if you analyze a deal and you are thinking, I'm happy with the numbers, I'm happy with the analysis where we're at right now, I'm going to send that and that data to an investor. So therefore I need to create a brochure. We click a button and it creates a brochure branded up beautifully. Our software already does that. Our deal calculators already do that. They're going to do that in the new one, obviously, but we've took it to another level and we've got create your local area report. Because if you're working with a client, be it a JV partner who's outside the area, they might not be local, they might not understand where you invest or you know, the deals that you're the area that you're working with. A local area report is a really nice document to receive. It gives them data, it gives them prices, it gives them a bit of information about the area, what's going on, what sort of investments are happening, and you know, some graphs. So it's really quite visual, but the key is it's branded up in your colors. So you subscribe to Accelerator software when we launch, you log in on your account, you put in your company details, you put in your brand colors, your brand, your company contact details, that appears on that local area report and the investor brochures, and you look $1 million in front of your investor clients or potential JV partners. So it puts you on another level up here when you're going against a lot of the amateurs that are out there who are trying to source deals and do stuff in property, which is most people, to be quite honest. So using things like this and having that branded kind of area guide and the brochures just takes it to that next level. The next bit I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you the pipeline because we're still working on that, Investor Hub and the portfolio and the financial freedom tracker. I'm going to show you the My Mentoring part. So if you're a mentee client of mine and you work with me, you will get access to this page. So at the top, you've got your people are always asking me there's not a day goes by where someone doesn't email me, WhatsApp me, message me and say, Paul, what's the link to your calendar? What's the link to the calendar? And I'm forever giving people a link. I've done it today. It's in here. Book your call. So you'll just be directed to here in future. That's how you book your hour-long session with myself, and you access my online diary. Bang, straight there. Your voice notes, what we mentioned at the beginning of this, they live on the homepage, but they're actually in here and they'll all be stacked here. So your accountability check-in, and it's dated. You get one of them a week, and it's me looking at your 90-day plan. So I will come in here and look at your 90-day plan every week, and I'll go, right, okay, Darren's not done this, this, and this. Okay, we need to talk about that in this week's check-in. Sorry for picking on you there, Daz. But that's where the voice notes will live. And it's just that accountability again. The next bit is something that we don't currently do, which is going to be a bit of a game changer, I think, because an hour-long mentoring call, we talk about 1,000,001 different things. As some of you will know as mentees, the conversation goes all over the place. We might talk about different deals, we might talk about your business, marketing, admin, problems, structure, finance, all sorts of stuff. You're going to forget. You might wake up you might wake up the next day and think, oh, what was that Paul said? And you forget. It's all logged in here. So the majority of what we spoke about on the call ends up in here. So you've got a full detailed thing of what we talked about, and In addition to the 90-day plan, as you well know, things come up in the conversations that we have on the one-to-ones, and I might say, right, you need to go and do the agreed actions are in here as well. So they're going to live there in addition to your 90-day plan. So you've got plenty to be getting on with. And nobody that is a client of mine should ever sit there and think, do you know what? What do I do? Do you know what? Just log in. This is what you do. Tick off the boxes. It's as simple as that. Just tick them off, log in, tick them off, log in, tick them off. Underneath that, we've got the AI property mentor. Mentees of mine get access to the AI version of myself. I cloned myself into an AI robot, and because I'm in bed at 11 o'clock most nights these days, you can ask the AI version of me and get answers to questions. The AI, to explain, for those that don't know, has been fed a load of data and is continually fed information about how to answer questions, how to approach things, the methods and structures behind things. It's very good. I've had mentees message me and actually say, I don't need you anymore, because they're up all night talking to their my AI twin, who never sleeps, unlike myself. So that lives in there as well. It's just easier to find if everything's in one place. Then you've got your courses. So depending on what package you are on, you may have access to one or all four of those online courses. And there's the login. Because that's another question that I get all the time. Paul, I've lost the login to the courses. What's the login to the courses? I get that every single day. Not anymore. It's all there. And then the next thing is just a reminder, I'm only a message away. For those on the mentorship, you'll know you get day-to-day support. You don't have to raise support tickets with me. I am there. You can message me direct in school, privately. You can email me, and the two buttons are there. So let me look at my list and make sure I've not missed anything. Yeah. The software itself, I should explain. If you are not a mentee of mine right now and you are watching this call and you are thinking, my God, this looks really good. How much is this? Or do you have to be a mentee? You don't have to be a mentee. And it's going to be £9 a month. £9 a month, that's it. That's what this costs for access to this, to run your business, to get the off-market leads, to have everything. The only thing you won't get for £9 a month is me. You don't get me. You won't get the voice note check-ins. You won't get any of that stuff that's in the mentoring section. That'll be grayed out and locked. And yeah, so you don't get access to those things. But you will get access to the deal calculators, to the property tools, and the other stuff. Within reason, you get pretty much everything. And the community, if I click that, it sends me to the school community. But essentially, this bit is grayed out, so you don't get me. So it's £9 a month. If you are a mentee and you already pay for a previous software that we launched, not even that long ago, I think it was back in March, called Accelerator Pro, Property Accelerator Pro. Your login is the same login. So if you currently pay for that and you log in, you don't need to do a single thing. All you need to do is, on the day that we swap things over, you'll be given a different page to log into. You use the same email, the same login password, and you'll end up on there. You'll be on that homepage. But interestingly, critically, all the deals that you've added to the old software, so you're into your pipeline or your portfolio, they'll all still be in there, just on this new system. So you're not losing any data or anything like that. We have carried over everybody's accounts. So that changes seamlessly. And those people that pay for Property Accelerator Pro, they do pay £19 a month currently. Your bill will just drop to £9 a month. You don't have to do anything. Your bill will automatically just drop 1 month and you'll just pay £9 a month for all of this. So I think that's everything I can show you really with where we're at right now. in terms of an update for that, we are looking at. We're looking at. Let me stop sharing the screen. There we go. Where have you all gone? There we go. Yeah, we are looking at launching the end of September, towards the end of September. But just check your emails. If you're in the school community, make sure you just log in every few days towards the end of September. You'll see posts about it. If you want in, not a problem. It'll be £9 a month. However, the £9 a month is only for the first 200 members. Once we go to 201, they pay double. The price will be going up. If you subscribe at £9 a month and you keep that subscription, you will never pay more than £9 a month. No matter how many other new things we add to the software, you will lock in that £9 a month forever. So my top tip is get the £9 a month and get access straight away, and then leave it there. Don't cancel it, because you'll end up paying double if you ever want it back in the future. Any questions at all from anybody? I'm happy to answer questions about that we've gone through this evening, or any property related question whatsoever. Feel free to raise your hand or type in the chat window. In fact, we've got a couple of.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, thanks. I mean, this is a very nice session. Really cleared a lot of things for me, and looking forward to September.
Good.
I have one problem which I don't know. I don't know if it's me or something. I go to school on my iPhone, and it works well. But each time I want to go on my laptop, it's telling me join group. And if I say join, it says £0 a month to £12 a month premium. But I'm one of your mentee, so I don't know what I need to do to be able to access everything on my laptop.
I will. Well, you're obviously on the call, so you're already a member. So you've got through.
Yeah, I'm able to do that on my phone, but
yeah, you're on your phone this evening.
Yeah,
I'll have a look at it for you tomorrow. But it'll probably be to do with the email address. So
I think you've gone on mute or something.
Am I on mute? Can you hear me? Hello.
Loud and clear.
Yeah. I'll have a look into it tomorrow for you. I'll have a look into it tomorrow.
Thank you.
For you. Yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll message you tomorrow.
Paul, just on a similar thing, I sent a link to somebody today, and it was meant to link straight to your school page, and it just went to a generic school page, so might be worth checking.
Where was the link from?
When you copy and paste it out of your profile to send to somebody else. Right,
that's why. So if you go on the school after this, if you go onto school and you click the about in the menu at the top, it's the last one on the right hand side. If you click that, that's the link you want to send to them.
All right, thank you.
It's because they'll have to join, and they can join as a free member or pay the premium. But so just send the about page link, not the link that you send them, and that'll work.
Yeah. Sorry, thanks. It was a good session, Paul. I like the software. One question from me: does the software also contain all the property link and Rightmove and the market, all of the Zoopla? Does it combine all of those as well?
No, it's only off-market deals.
It's only off-market.
Yeah, it doesn't mix up what's on Rightmove and Zoopla. So what you'll find on our system, they're off-market. They're not on Rightmove. They're not on Zoopla or on the market or anywhere else. They are off-market deals. Okay, there's no point mixing them all up, because that's not the idea at all. So if you want the on-market deals, obviously you head on over to Rightmove, etc.
Yeah.
But we try to keep it clean. Everything's off-market.
Okay. One more question from me. Sorry. Does it include like development site or not? Like development site with planning permissions and stuff like that?
No, not at the moment. But obviously, this is like a V1, so it's not to say it won't come in the future. As I said before, there'll be more property tools when it launches. You'll notice when you log in, this looks a bit different because we've added more stuff. But in terms of what you're saying, not yet and not at launch, no. But maybe in the future.
Okay, final question for me. I'm a member of with the 4 login to the 4 course.
Yeah.
Do I need to sign up to this one separate when it come out? You said the end of September.
So this software,
Yeah,
we've gone through tonight. That's £9 a month.
for me when it come out. And when is it coming out?
End of September.
End of September. So I just need
Yeah.
to watch out because I
Just-
definitely want.
Yeah, you'll get an email anyway, Shane. Don't worry about it. You'll get an
Thanks.
email, mate. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I'll be sending out
And
emails.
for the guys earlier, I was having the same problem. You probably just need to look in the login and you will see where it said register, you will see one that said login as well. That's probably help. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I did tonight.
Yeah. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks.
No worries.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
I've got a couple of questions in the chat, so we'll just go to them for a second. Darren, the deal finder reminded me that the council have an empty home register. Is the way tapping into this? Yeah, we're looking at it at the moment. So, yeah, can the schedule of works be printed and emails to all trades? Yeah, can be printed and sent off as a PDF or a document. Do we have access to the emails linked to the company? Do we have access to the emails linked to the company?
Say you're looking for property investors, I guess you're getting the information from, say, Company House, limited companies, and you start a conversation and you can got those templates where you can send a message.
Yeah.
I guess that just goes through the software, but you don't actually see, you must somehow have the emails to send them a message. Oh.
Yeah, no, Malcolm. So what happens there is the button to speak to that investor or start the conversation. It opens up the letter template or the messaging template, and you could then copy and paste that into. You would go and find that individual on LinkedIn, and then use that as a template as the opening message. The problem with LinkedIn, as a lot of the guys will say, and I'm sure you've come across this, is I know I get 1,000,001 messages a day from people. They send you a connection request and they all sound the same. And they try and pitch you something. Now, our outreach messages go against that grain and try and just start a conversation and open the door. Because if you can start a conversation, that's what you want, especially when you're targeting investors, potential JV partners, and you're being very specific about it as well with targeting investors in certain areas as well. I am looking at, somebody asked a question the other week, are we going to be able to find investors overseas? That's something I'm working on in the background. At the minute, it's just UK based. But yeah, to answer your question, you copy and paste and then you do the LinkedIn search for that name. It is just a click of a button and it'll search for that person. But you'll be able to know who it is in the list. Let's say, for example, it was John Smith, very popular name in the UK. A lot of people will come up in a search on LinkedIn. However, you will be looking for a John Smith who's a director of a company. So you'll have the company name and you'll also have the location. So you'll be able to work out by process of elimination on a very basic level who it is to message. Let me go back to the questions. Limited companies, potential investors. Roger, time for a question. When is the launch date for the accelerator?
You've answered that, Paul. You've answered that, Paul. It's the next question that I'm interested in.
Oh, right. The one underneath. Is Property Accelerator also an online CRM software systems like HubSpot, MailChimp, or an all-in-one like Go High Level, which currently cost now? It's a bit of both. We don't have email capabilities within the accelerator software. However, it's certainly a place to analyze, log, and track, and use as a CRM system in the sense of having a pipeline. I think where it really comes into its own is the investor pipeline, because you're speaking to a number of different people at networking meetings online. You can add them into the pipeline and keep track of them. You're not messing around with spreadsheets. Also, start onboarding investors. You have KYC documents, know your customer, AML documents. You might have sourcing agreements. You might have a JV agreement, some sort of legal contracts. You can attach them all to your investor by name, so everything lives in one place and it's not all over your laptop or your computer. So it is an all-in-one in that sense. The only thing we don't have is the email side of things to set up email sequences.
So it's not like an autoresponder, is it? Is that right? Like MailChimp and
no, it's not. It doesn't do that. That's the email stuff. Totally different beast.
Is there a CRM system that you particularly use, or you can?
For email, yeah, I use Kit.
Kit.
Yeah, it used to be called ConvertKit, but it's now called Kit. I find it really, really simple.
I've heard of it.
They've been going a long time. They're very good. Their email templates, email sequences. Darren uses them. I've got him using. Got a few mentees using Kit.
Could you put the website in the chat? Or
I'll drop it in the community.
Yeah, community. Yeah, that'd be interested.
I'll ping it in there.
Because I'm looking for a CRM. I was going for Go High Level, but they're going up now because they're so popular.
Yeah,
they do everything. Yeah,
you won't spend half as much with Kit. Kit is very affordable. I think there's a package where you can have so many people sign up to your email list, and it's like there's a free option, so you can start small and grow. It grows as you grow, and I think that's fair. I think things like Go High Level and HubSpot, they charge an absolute premium because there's so many bells and whistles attached to it, which is great if that's what you want. Fine. Lovely, but it's not where people often start. I like software companies that offer the opportunity for you to start small and grow, and Kit definitely does that. Yes,
that's great.
Adderall, is it Kit? Yes, KIT, as it sounds. I'll pop the link in the community when we're done. Any other questions from anybody on the call this evening?
Yeah, Paul, just a quick one, mate. So,
yeah, sure.
You know how when me and you first joined, I always said that I've actually had the pleasure of speaking with Darren the day as well about trying to build that investor relationship.
Yeah.
The one thing that wouldn't say I'm worried about, but I want to make sure I'm doing it right, is that I'd happily message 100 people a day if I could, especially with the use of this new software. Would you recommend like a message limit out to people? Because see, for me, I love talking with people, especially getting to know them deeply. But and I was following your training as well for the first week, trying to build that investor avatar. But I've been finding it a bit hard to keep track of how many people I'm talking to sometimes. I don't know if that's enthusiastic biting my ass a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're having a problem keeping count, that you're doing something right, is what I would say. I think ultimately, it like anything, it's a numbers game. Conversations breed business. People all the time. I said this to somebody else who just joined yesterday. There is no secret to making money in property. There is no guru has a secret behind, a £15,000 course. It's nonsense. It's BS. The secret is do the work. Be consistent, taking the right actions at the right time. Too many people waste time doing things they don't need to be doing. Conversations is literally top of the list. Top of the list. That's why it's built into the software to be front of mind when you're in your 90-day plan. It's under there. Log your conversations. In terms of limitations, what you've got to be careful with, if you're having conversations online on LinkedIn, there is a limit. So if you start firing off 100 messages a day, you're going to get your account locked down pretty quick, which you don't want to do. So we need to understand the limits. We do talk about it in the training. There is a way around it. And the way around it is to join LinkedIn property groups. The LinkedIn groups themselves are not great in my experience, but we use them as a workaround. So you can get into those LinkedIn groups and you can look at the members of those groups. And some of them will have tens of thousands of people in those groups. Honestly, like 20,000 people in a LinkedIn group about property. they're in the group for a reason. They're interested in property. Then you can start connecting with them from within the group. If you do it that way, there are no limits. LinkedIn lets you connect with literally 1,000 people a day doing it that way. But if you do it the normal way, just by searching names and clicking connect, they'll shut you down.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I don't want it to have done to me as well.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'm finding, I don't know if it's just me figuring out, but I'm trying to figure a way to get my phone to notify me when the property professional investor messages me back, because sometimes it's like I don't get notifications that they've replied to me. So
Right.
that's why I always say I feel worried about losing them, because I'm always keeping the message and then follow up like maybe 3-4 days later. But then it's sometimes I look down and I'm like, oh, I've not messaged that person, or that person didn't reply to me. And as you said, doing that organic connection's great, but that loophole to get them all from one group also just seems very useful as well.
Yeah, it's useful. I think the best way to do that is just keep things simple. So if you've sent out a lot of messages, literally diarize it. So every morning at 10 a.m. or whatever, one time of the day, whatever time it is, sit down and go on your LinkedIn every day, and maybe not the weekend. I'll give you the weekend off. Every day. So yeah, just go in and direct. Okay, have I got anything to respond back to? And deal with it like that. It's the easiest way to do it. But honestly, notifications, have a look, because something's going amiss there, because I get my phone pings when I get messages on LinkedIn, because I have certain conversations I need to know when I get a message on LinkedIn. So it works for me. So there must be some sort of issue there to look into for yourself. So
it's the same with Facebook. What I found now, Paul, is the algorithms are changing, so I'm getting more and more the property people coming in my in the posts rather than the thing. So, Charles, you could also try contacting people on Facebook groups as well. Some you've got to be a bit careful, because if you start promoting and direct messaging, they'll. But the vast majority of Facebook groups, the same like LinkedIn, like Paul was saying, you can contact them and direct message them, and yeah, not everyone will get back to you, but then you can. The ones that do, they'll say, "Oh, are you a source or investor?" And you can take it from there. And that's just because of, like you said, Paul, you got to DM quite a lot of people, though. It is a volume game, like
yeah,
Tim
it's
said.
volume, 100%, Rajesh. It is volume. Volume is everything. It honestly is. If you're not getting results, look at the volume. That's why. Darren's put, what confidence can we have about security when logging details and documents into the system? It is secure. I can share security details with you once we launch, and yeah, it's built to be secure, because it's housing data and important data. So it is built that way. So yeah, we can share that. Any other questions about this evening, or just generally in property? Let me just check, see if I haven't missed anything. Go on.
Just one more then, Paul. First of all, Regis, thank you for the idea for Facebook. But the reason why I'm avoiding Facebook is because and I was saying it to Darren earlier on, it's just filled with a lot of sourcers spamming people left, right, and centre, and it does my head in. See how you said about the 16 messages in general, mate. I watched one of your, I don't know if it was a conversation we had, or if it was one of your YouTube videos before I even came on to your page. What was, you said about the 16 messages minimum outreach as well. Is that individuals with just for 16 cold messages initially, and then the follow-ups building upon it, or is it 16 every week, cold message?
It's 16 conversations. Now, what I count as a conversation is a back and forth, not you just sending a message and not getting a response. That's not a conversation, because nothing's come back. So a conversation to be completely clear, is, as you would expect, you engaging with somebody and them engaging back with you, and then you are conversing with each other. That's going to be something that you log. If you've just sent 16 messages out, you don't log them as conversations. They're not conversations. But that's where the volume comes from. So you might send out 50 and you might get 16 conversations. So it might be 100 and you might get 16 conversations, whatever it is. But yeah.
No, that's great, mate. Thank you. It's just so I could got like an understanding of a baseline to aim for and what qualifies.
Yeah, no worries. Anybody else?
Hey Paul, Maz here. Just
Hey,
wanted
Maz,
to
you
say,
okay?
yeah, good. Sorry, I can't come on camera as I'm already ready for bed.
That's all right. No worries.
But really great to see. Love how smooth the product looks as well. Super easy to use. So looking forward to the launch. So massive well done there.
Thank you.
It's gonna be really useful, and yeah, I'll be back. I'll be in touch with you to check a deal that we've talked about as well. So just wanted
Brilliant.
to share that as well.
Good. Yeah, I don't know if you were on right at the beginning. I did give you a shout out for getting the 4 projects done and looking for project 5, but that's exactly what you're talking about there. Project 5, I'm guessing.
Yes. Sorry, I did join late because I just noticed the call. But just been to view a property and potential for a title split like we discussed. So
Yeah.
I'll share that with you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, send it over. We'll have a look. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. But yeah,
Good
well
stuff.
done again. Looking forward.
Thank you. You'll love, actually, the once we've, I don't know if you've seen it there at the end, the project management side of it. Or maybe your brother will, because I know he does your refurbs. I don't know if you crack the whip and you project manage him. But yeah, I think that side of things is going to help a lot of people.
Definitely. To be honest, I've always just kind of put it all in the back of my head and just kind of played it by ear, see what happens at the end. And definitely some savings to be made. So it's going to be a useful tool.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I didn't explain it properly because it's not. It's still a work in progress. But what that software is actually going to do in reality is, if you're using the Gantt chart and project managing, and things start slipping, so something takes much longer than it should have done and costs much more than it should have done, then it has a direct impact at the top of the screen on profits slipping. So you're really aware of the pounds evaporating into thin air as you're going through the project management. But the idea is that you're aware of it and you're not like getting to the end of the line where you're thinking, oh, we've lost loads of money here, because that's like, when it's happening. So maybe you can act and deal with it in the moment rather than when it's too late. So yeah, it will be doing all sorts of stuff.
Yes, it's bringing that structure, really, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, what I found with the projects that I've done so far is you kind of start off maybe structured, and then after week 2, things fall apart, and then you just kind of close your eyes and hope for the best, and then call them at the end of it lessons learned for next time. Chances are they're not necessarily actually learned. So you end up just repeating the same issues, sort of same mistakes. So I think it's a really good point to kind of keep you on track and making sure that you actually act rather than, because you wouldn't want that number to be going too high, isn't it? It's almost like a little bit of a target to, hey, not crossing over that. So really cool feature.
Yeah, definitely. It's about taking things from the, crossing your fingers and hope it turns out okay, to I know it's okay, and having that confidence, especially when you're playing around with other people's money and you're using JV finance and things like that. You've got a tighter grip on things, and you know what? When you do have a tighter grip on the finances, you know exactly where things are on a project. You can sleep at night. Because if you're anything like me, if things start sliding, you're not sleeping, you start stressing, you haven't got your finger on the pulse, or hopefully it makes things a lot easier in that sense.
Yes, I think you will do, and if you can get me some sleep back, then all the better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but send me over that thing. I don't know if you missed the very beginning of the call. I'm away on holiday on Friday, so if you want to get something to me, get it to me ASAP.
I'll try and get it to you tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. If you get it to me tonight, I'll come back to you
Thanks a
tomorrow.
lot. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Take care.
Where
Any
you,
other questions?
where are you off on holiday to?
I'm going over to Cyprus. So holiday over there, and part holiday, part looking at houses for the future. Because some of you will know I'm in the process of looking at moving to Cyprus. And when I say looking at moving to Cyprus, in my head, I've already gone. It's the missus that I have to convince. So we're going over to look at property. Hopefully put a smile on her face and twist her arm a little bit. But yeah, Cyprus, can't wait.
Paul, just one last question. I think you answered this once before on one of the other online. Is it better to do a loan agreement with rather than a joint venture with an investor? I think you might have answered this question before, but I just wanted to make sure that I know. So say if maybe I need to borrow, I don't know, £150,000 for a BRR, or maybe a property flip, maybe not as much as that, but just indulge me. Would it be better to take that as a loan and then pay a return each year to the investor rather than do it as a JV?
They're two completely different things, and I get when we go back to Avatar, investor Avatar, a JV partner is looking to potentially maybe not put all of the money in. A lot of the time, people assume JV partner means they fund the whole deal. Not necessarily. They might fund 70% of the deal, and you fund the 30%.
30%, yeah.
So it boils down to what are you trying to achieve in what area of the UK? What do things cost? And ultimately what the investor wants. So it's not one's better than the other. They're different things. It's like saying is a flip, which is better, a flip or a buy to let? Well, they're completely different things. They're both lending money, so we'll get the question. But yeah, it depends on the investor. I mean, if you are specifically, as I don't think Alex is on the call this evening, Alex,
no.
JV partners, it does exactly what I said there. So they'll put in all of the money, but Alex has the sweat equity in the deal, so he carries out the project management and all the rest of it, as we know. And he has a profit share on the deal. So rather than doing a lending the money or anything like that, he hasn't lent the money. The investor buys the property. Alex project manages. They have an agreement, a JV agreement, and there's a profit share on the project itself. And Alex will have a security attached to the property. When the property is sold, he will be paid his 30% or whatever he's agreed. And it works like that because that's what works with his clients and that's what he's comfortable with. You've got to find your sweet spot on how you want to operate and what fits your ideal client avatar. So there's one question is kind of like several questions there if you get what I mean. But there's no right or wrong to it.
If you did go for the loan aspect of it, if the and say for instance, you do borrow the 100 or 200 or whatever the amount is, and then you can pay the investor a fixed rate of return each year. Is that right?
It would be for an agreed term. So you would agree to lend, I don't know, 100 grand.
Yeah, let's say 100 grand. Yeah.
Yeah, and you would agree to give them a 10% return on that in 12 months. So you would have that 100 grand to do the deal, to get in and out of that deal within 12 months to pay them back.
Right. Yeah? Okay.
You would pay them back the 100 grand and their 10% on top of whatever you've agreed. So it's a basic loan agreement. I can send you a template. We've got templates for loan agreements.
Yeah, no, it's just because it just came to me, and I think you did explain it before when I said if you're doing maybe a BRR or a flip project, I think the question was, if you had to start again, what would you do? I think that was a question initially I asked you.
Right.
And then you went into, well, you could do a JV, or what I would do is I would borrow the money off the investor and then give them a return on their investment. But like you said, within a 12-month period. So I just want, if you can send me the template, it'd be great. Whenever you
I'll send you the template. It's a really quite straightforward document. It's just a loan agreement template, but that essentially just sets it out in legalese what I've just explained in as basic way as possible. But there's different ways of slicing and dicing them in terms of paying back the interest and things like that. But predominantly, it's normally paid back at exit of the deal, so sale or refinance or whatever. There's different ways of doing it, but yeah.
All right, that's great. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Cool, no worries. Any other questions, or are we all allowed to go to bed? Are we all okay? What I want to say this evening is thanks for joining on. It's good to see so many of you on the call. A few newbies as well. Thanks for your questions as we've gone. For those people that don't normally join the call, we do this every fortnight. On a Tuesday at 7 p.m. They're always advertised within the group, so stay in touch with the group and you'll know when the next meeting is. I normally do send a message out via the group that goes through your emails as well, so you'll get notified. Just to touch on it again, I'm away on holiday, back on the 9th. If you need my support, you need my help in between, reach out to me. Just don't expect a response immediately because I'll probably be at a beach or, having a drink somewhere or whatever. I'm on holiday, but I will get back to you. I will be checking my internet, sporadically throughout the day while I'm lying there, sunning myself. So yeah, take care and I'll see you on the next one. See you in the community. If you've got any other questions that you think after this, pop them in the community. And if you've got VIP level access to the community or premium access, you can watch the replay of this or any other call in the past for that matter. But thanks for joining and have a good evening. I'll see you all soon. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Enjoy your holiday, Paul. Take care.
Thank you.
God bless, Paul.
Bye.
Enjoy your holiday, mate.
Thanks, mate.